Welcome to the third interview of marketing-interview.com. Today we have Alberta Rossini as our guest. She is head of marketing at Aesop Technologies. Aesop Technologies develops sustainable material solutions for industrial application and consumer products. Welcome, Alberta. How are you doing?
Fine, thanks. Thank you for this invitation.
You're welcome, definitely.
And this opportunity.
Definitely. So, why did you decide to go into marketing and how did all of this start?
Oh, my course of study began by studying architecture at the University of Venice, a course of study that managed to bring together and satisfy my passion for art, architecture, photography, history, and urban planning. A little less mathematics, which has never been my main skill. Venice has always had an international vocation. I remember classmates from the United States, Ireland, Emirates, China, Japan, a truly stimulating environment, which led me shortly after to follow a master's degree in Brussels on the marketing and totalization of business, where I started studying marketing and working so close with companies and try to understand and interpreting their needs by translating them into projects.
I understand. So what type of companies did you start out with?
After a very short experience as an architect, I immediately trained with a master's degree in marketing and started working in a communication agency as an account, a role that allowed me to know all the phases of preparation and implementation of a campaign, from the initial briefing, brainstorming, creativity, the choice of the media, up to the reporting. In fact, it is important to work with companies from different sectors because you get used to being flexible and you know the dynamics and specific needs of each area because one does not fit all.
That's true. For each for each company, you need different marketing activities that will fit and give some results, right?
Yes.
So what inspired you to work as a head of marketing?
Oh, thank you for this question. In marketing, there is a strong psychological component, and for me, it is the most fascinating aspect. And then you are always immersed in the times that you are living, or sometimes also you can anticipate in the future. It is a very intense and focused way of working. I don't know if anyone remembers the Mad Men series, the TV series created by Matthew Weiner. The series uses the New York advertising world of the 60s as a mirror to tell the great change that occurred in American society during the decade. Times have obviously changed now, but marketing is always the mirror of the times and often anticipates the dynamics or sensitive of the future. Let's think about the sustainability that now permeates all communication or the themes concerning gender.
I think that's a great point that you made, that marketing has a big factor of psychology, because I think a lot of people reject this point. They don't look at their customers or their target customers at a psychological level. They're just trying to do what feels nice to them, but they don't look at the customer and what he really wants and needs and what he wants to see in the marketing. So I think it's a very nice point that you made with psychology, because that's also the core of my marketing approach that I'm using for my company.
Yes, it's important. We have to be very, very focused on it.
Definitely. What has helped you the most to grow and develop yourself in the role as a head of marketing?
It helped me to work with companies from all very different sectors, of different size and international, because it helps to really understand and interpret the different needs and to implement the best strategies. This is very, very important.
That's true. Do you have kids, Alberta, if I may ask?
I worked really with companies that was very local or big brands like Chanel, like L'Oreal. You have to change your point of view, but your behavior can be the same because you have to be every time very, very focused on the analysis on their needs, their personal needs.
I understand. So what advice would you give your kids if he or she wanted to follow the same path as you and would start from scratch? What would you give him? Like, what type of advice would you give him or
Yes,
her?
thank you. I do not have kids, but to a younger person who approaches marketing, I suggest to be really, really very, very curious and never stop to be curious because with the advent of the AE, we are hearing very lot in these days. Everyone talks about AE. The most precious skills will be the soft skills. So it will be important to be patient, to have negotiation skills, mediation skill, diplomacy, and those are attitudinal skills. But you can try to improve them, living and experimenting a lot, traveling around, meeting many people from different fields, from different walks, and so you have to live a lot to experience a lot.
I understand. I understand. So, what would you exactly tell a young person? What steps would he or she need to do so they could like be successful in the world of marketing? What steps are important for them to take?
Yes, sure. First of all, I think we need to understand what it means to be successful. Because today, with social media, for example, we measure the success in terms of follower, maybe, no? And unfortunately, sometimes this is not really success. So I think that we have to study to be very informed. Also, in a sector there are differences, and apparently they does not concern to get to the bottom of things. We have to also to have a goal very very really really in mind, and we have to go in that direction very very focused all the time.
That's true. That's true. That's what I also would recommend to study, study, study. But I see a lot of people in our world right now. After they studied at the university, they think they are all done with studying. And as you
Uh,
said, the world keeps evolving. So I think it's very, very important to keep studying, keep being a student, and keep
Every
being informed,
day,
right?
every day. The university is only a starting point. For example, I started with architecture, but now I'm so far from architecture. But I made a lot of experience in different fields, a lot of master, and every day I try to improve my knowledge.
Definitely, definitely. And is there a moment in your career that you are particularly proud of?
Yes, sure. I'm very proud of the choice that I made when I started dedicating myself to sustainability marketing because it was also my greatest challenge. Because entering a very innovative field that has to do with the chemistry of material, in particular, in my case, bio-based alternative to plastic, and I made this about 10 years ago, was at the very beginning. I had to review and update all my skills because communicating in the sector could not, knowing the characteristic also, and a little from a technical point of view. So I attended another master again, and taking advantage of the forced break due to the COVID period to trying again myself in the sustainability of material as a specialist in circular business model and sustainability. So also myself, I study and study and study many times.
That's impressive. So you have two master degrees, if I understood correctly.
Yes, yes. And I answer also to the next question because this was also my biggest challenge.
I understand. I understand. So, if you look back at your career, what marketing activities have been proven useful to you? Like could be in your company that you are in right now, or the other ones that you've worked for before.
I think these in the field of sustainability is really challenging because it is a new field because every day something change, so you have to be very focused on all the aspects that are related on this. You have to be very informed. We have to check the news, to check the normative aspect. So it is very challenging for me.
I understand.
And it is a little bit also a male environment. So there are not so many women in that.
And also, you probably have to educate your customers a lot, right? Because they don't know so
Yes,
much about the product you have.
yes.
I understand. I understand. So, if you look at your work at the moment, what is your biggest challenge that you have right now?
The biggest challenge that I have now is against the laziness of men who tend to always do the same things. So maybe they are so deeper passive towards reality because our attention has been reduced due to social media, I think, and in new generation it is increasing lower, and it is therefore there is a difficult to provide quality content that can is understandable in a short time. In my particular area of intervention, the challenge is against the greenwashing that is taking place, trying to make people understand the sustainability needs to be serious because everyone's future is at stake, especially in the case of plastic. It is a matter of health. It is not only a trend.
I understand. I understand. So, for you, social media is right now the biggest challenge in your company.
Yes,
Content
because they
production.
have to manage it because sometimes I think they spend a lot of time and also a lot of money on social media, but I don't know if it is really a good choice.
I understand. I understand. And if you look at your marketing decisions that, or if you look at the marketing decisions that are happening in the world right now, what do you think are the biggest mistakes that companies are doing?
I think that companies are doing wrong today is that they go too far behind trends and sometimes they're not serious. They do not focus on the substance of thing and underestimate the reputational aspect. They allow themselves to be overwhelmed by the desire of view. They look for view, they look for followers, but they need to be a little bit more focused and a little bit more serious and do not only look to influence to this overdose of presence, which however is often nothing in itself and devoid of content, does not build a reputation because reputation is important. You have to build you need time to build your reputation, but you can destroy it in a very few minutes,
Definitely.
especially online. So you have to pay attention on what you do online and not only follow followers.
That's true. That's true. Reputation should be guarded with everything you have. That's very important.
Yeah.
So, what marketing decisions on the other side do you admire the most in today's corporate world?
I admire companies that follow a serious path of positioning that is attentive to the important issue and challenges of this time and that deal with sustainability in a current and continuous way because that's my field. So I think that sustainability is really important and we have to do it seriously.
Definitely. Definitely. If you had to build a brand from scratch, which business model and which industry would you choose and why?
Really appreciate and like this question because it is a process that I have done several times in several different fields. But the most interesting case was precisely in the field of bio-based materials where building a market and a brand credibility in a period, I'm talking about 10 years ago, in which sustainability wasn't a hot topic like now. It wasn't easy, but it's a very rewarding challenge because you know you are on the right side of history.
And you think that in the future, a lot of companies are going to hop on this train, so you see a lot of success for the future for this field.
Yes, I think. Yes, I think. And now there is a little bit of confusion because there is also a little bit of greenwashing. But I think that it is improving. In the future, there will be much more focus, much more. I think it is the future.
Definitely. And
Yeah.
what marketing steps would you choose and build your brand?
The marketing step starts from the brand identity that needs to be created for every product, for every brand, passing through the positioning, as I mentioned before. In our case, it was a green chemical company. So it is a business to business company, not business to consumer, but we chose to communicate in a very friendly way and not so technical. Also, if you look at our website, we try to be something like Apple or something like a consumer website, because even a B2B user could understand what we are doing.
Understand. And what marketing channels would you prefer the most, and which one would you ignore?
I think the most important marketing channel on which I would focus in our case, we made a difficult but perhaps ahead of its time choice that it is of not being on social media. We decided to not be on social media because on social media the fact is that everyone can say what they think. And especially in a very technical sector, um, it takes away from the complexity and contributes to creating confusion in a sector where one must instead be very serious and focused. It was a reasoned choice and one of that I would not recommend for other companies with a different vocation. But in our case, it was rewarding, and I say this to underline that what is important is the initial analysis and knowledge of the sector and the target in order to then make the right choice in terms of positioning and marketing mix. So there is no recipe for everyone, and also in this case, one do not fit all. You have to look at where you are and where you want to go.
Okay, I understand. So would you say direct sales would be a better channel for this type of company to call up businesses, for example, or email them? Doing business this way would be more profitable, more suitable for this type of company.
Yes. I wouldn't ignore any marketing channel. What counts, in my opinion, is the coherence and originality. It was very useful for me to work in fundraising for a foundation where you learn to put yourself in the donor's shoes and involve him in a story that is engaging and on a path in the long term. The topic for engagement is important. I have a dream. I have not a strategic plane. We need to involve, to excite, and get excited. Telling emotion leads to action, and that's who has been lost with this influential. Because you need to know the donor or the consumer, who he is and what he thinks, and we need to create a lasting relationship with our user and customer. So storytelling is important, but it must be serious, sustained, and supported by facts and sustainable.
I understand. How would you identify suitable employees for this company?
Oh, I look at their soft skills, then will be the most sought after in the future because many technical, practical aspects will be absorbed by artificial intelligence. So I will select them based on the best skills of collaboration, patience, mediation, decision making, negotiation.
I understand. How do you find these employees? Would you have them work for your company for a while and test them? Or would you just see it from their resumes? How would you identify these type of skills?
It depends. It depends on what you really need. But I think that young people are so they have so many possibilities to inform themselves because the new technologies.
Definitely.
So you can reach people with internet, with this media that before you cannot reach. So it is much more easy now to know people, also to find some that one that can collaborate with you.
Okay, okay. What type of mistake would you avoid? What type of mistake would you avoid in any case with this company?
Oh, I think the mistake that we have to regret the most is not doing things. I think we should always try to get involved, to participate, be where things happen. No, because it creates a positive vortex of energy, even at work. I don't want to be a new age, but in my life it was like this. One experience leads to others and opening many links. Also, all of you to have more choice while always remaining focused on our clean objectives.
I understand. I understand. Alberta, thank you a lot for this interview. It was a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you to you. It was very nice. Thank you. It was a
You're welcome.
pleasure.